Good afternoon. This is Sheri Ann Richerson from Experimental Homesteader.com, and I'm standing in my kitchen. I've had a lot on my mind the past few days. I'm sure Jeffrey has touched on some of that in the daily vlog. And so I'm back. I don't know if I will be on Facebook much at all this year, and I'm going to tell you why. People are just very opinionated, very hateful of anything that isn't up to their standards. I am getting really tired already of all the hate attacks. And it hasn't been just Facebook. It's been YouTube. I've had nasty comments left on my blog. Yes, blog comments are re-enabled. They all have to be approved. So you can leave the comment all you want. As soon as I see that it's hate, I'm just putting it over in the spam folder. And I am collecting IP addresses. And just letting you know, I am really sick of it. There is no sense in the behavior. We're all grown adults here. So anyway, I've been in my kitchen doing some work, doing some sorting through of stuff, and it's just amazing how some of the stuff that I got last year for review has stacked up. Much of it I donated, but not the kitchen stuff. I keep that for me. And so we put stuff in tubs and we set stuff aside, and it needed sorted, and I did that last night. And I am ready to get started on my self-sufficiency movement this year. This weekend we're going to get the fruit trees trimmed because we haven't got that done yet. And we're going to tap the maple trees and the black walnut trees. This will be the first time tapping the black walnut trees. It's not that they're not big enough, because they're plenty big enough. I just have never had black walnut syrup. But this year I decided we're going to give it a try, and we're going to see if we like it. And if not, it will make great gifts for someone. So we're going to try it and see what happens. Other things that I have been doing, I have got a ginger bug started right here. This is ginger water and sugar, and it is fermenting to make what I hope does not turn out to be an alcoholic drink. I'm trying to make a fermented fizzy additive that I can add to fruit juices, tea, whatever, to give it kind of a fizziness that is more natural. I am using cane sugar in this. I will not use beet sugar because it is GMO. GMO is genetically modified organisms. So I definitely avoid those. I'm going to flip the camera here, and I'm going to give you a little view of what's going on behind me. Okay. I have a can of home canned pears here. Now these are pears I grew myself. I'm going to be adding them to a pan, and I'm going to add some, oops, hold on. Okay, I wanted to add a little more light there. I'm going to be adding some rosemary from my greenhouse and some vanilla paste to these recipes on my blog, experimentalhomesteader.com/EC for elegant cooking. And then I'm going to be baking these in the oven. They are delicious that way. This is the garlic dicer that I received for review. I did receive this item for free or at a reduced price in exchange for my honest review. And it's sitting here because I absolutely love it. And then I have a number of salt and pepper grinders that I also received for review that are sitting here on my kitchen counter. I use a lot of different varieties of salt. This is a Tuscan seasoning salt. This is Himalayan pink sea salt. This is actually a blue salt. I came across that, and I don't know how well it's picking up the blue in the camera, but it's there. And then I have peppercorns, and some more Himalayan pink sea salt back there. On the plate, this is turmeric, and then those are pieces of ginger. I have a small mint plant here, and up in the arrow garden, I have some lettuce growing. I also have some dill and some basil planted and 2 other varieties of lettuce, but so far only 2 have germinated. And then, like I said, I have my ginger bug there. So, and then moving on down here, I have, in this arrow garden, I have 2 different types of tomato. This one is still really small, but this one's going really well. And I have some cucumber seeds in there that are not doing anything yet. And then, of course, I have my Ozeri scale that I love. Over on the table, just because it's really convenient, this is the machine. This is a programmable crock pot, and I'm using it to do my sous vide cooking. I also have some organic bananas back there, and I'm just going to show you inside of there. This is actually a beef rib. There are 2 of these in here, and I have been cooking these inside their little plastic pouches. Today will be day 2, so tonight I will be taking those out. I will be browning them on my salt block and eating them. I think I'm going to make some salt roasted carrots and maybe baked potato to go with this tonight. And up in the living room, I have quite a number of seedlings going here. Over here, I have some kale. I have a number of tomato seedlings here. These are both Brugmansia. Okay, I have some basil right here. And over here, very hard to see, so let me see if I can come around here and make it a little easier. I have a little bit of parsley in here that is just sprouting, and I have some celery. This is the red venture in here that's sprouting, and I'm just waiting for everything else to start in. I do have both of these flats on some heat mats because they're so close to the front door, and I want to get really good germination. Okay, and something else I kind of want to touch on, because clearly there are a number of people that do not know this. When you write a book, you don't always get to pick the title of that book. Often the publishing company does, or such as my Complete Idiot's Guides, they are part of a ton of Complete Idiot Guides books. When I go to people's blogs, when I go over to Amazon, when I read some of the reviews on my books, and it says, the title does not fit the book, or who would name their book The Complete Idiot's Guide? Yes, I'm very serious here. I have had that exact comment. Okay. I had nothing to do with the titles of most of my books. Okay. My 101 Tips books, those were actually part of a series for a company called Life Tips that I wrote for. So they are all 101 tip books, every one of them. The tips are meant to be within a certain amount of words. Some of my tips are longer. I had to do that, but they were not meant to be a complete tip how to. They were meant to be short and sweet little tips. And if you wanted more information on that subject, you can research it or ask me. Just ask me. I really am here, and I'm open to real questions. I know that sounds really funny, but I really am open to questions about things. I am still learning how to distill essential oils. I have been doing it for a number of years, yes, and I understand the basics. I learned from a book, and that book is by a lady named Grace Firth, who has passed away, but it's called Secrets of the Still. Okay, I was lucky enough to find a used bookstore that was willing to run me down a copy of this book, which I paid $50 or $60 for, but I wanted this book. Now, since doing this, I have learned that sometimes you can find them on Amazon a lot cheaper. But at the time I had looked on Amazon, the book was not available. I love this book. Okay. It is very well written. It does explain distillation. I have not read Jeannie Rose's book. I would like to get that one and read it because I absolutely love her books too. But this is a good starting point, and this is where I have got most of my information from. This is not the only book that she wrote. She also wrote Still Room Cookery, which I also own a copy of and absolutely love. And I have several other of her books as well. Now, her books are not for everybody, okay? If you don't enjoy my book, 101 Secret Gardening Tips, which is not about gardening, it is about what can I do with these plants besides grow them and have them look pretty or cook with them, okay? There are a number of plants you can make soap from, and yes, I've done it, okay? It is a lot of fun. No, it is not the commercial soap that you're used to. Does it work just as well? Better, I think. You can add your own essential oils for fragrances, or you can leave it unscented. It does not stink. It is just a great, great product. Okay, I have used soapwort. I have used yucca, many, many plants that I have used to make soap with. It's good to know these things, people, because you don't know when you might need this. Okay, the yucca plant is also good for making string and fiber. Yes, this is true. So many plants have essential oils, and you can distill those. And yes, you need a still. Okay, I do not have an essential oil still because we could not afford one at the time that I got mine. We were looking at $400 to $500. We couldn't afford that. So we bought a cheap still meant for making alcohol on Amazon or eBay. I'm not sure where we got it. I'm thinking Amazon, but it is nothing more than a stock pot with a copper tubing coming out of it that has been modified so it doesn't explode. It works, and I do have videos on YouTube of my still setup if you want to take a look at that. Yes, I do not have the equipment to separate my oil from my hydrosol, so I have played around with that too. Just trying to figure out how to do it without spending a lot of money. You can freeze that hydrosol. The oil's not going to freeze, but the water will. And then you can take a little eyedropper and very easily suck the oil off the top. Will you get some hydrosol in there? Yes, you will. Okay. I have a big container, like about this size, that I let my hydrosol and oils run into. I freeze that. I get such a tiny, tiny amount of oil that it doesn't even fill. I think my little essential oil bottles are about this big. Doesn't even fill that halfway up, okay? But it's my own. I didn't have to pay for that. I made that. And the hydrosols also have healing properties with them. So you can use them just like you do the essential oils. Okay. I grew those herbs and plants that went into that still. I know they were organically grown. I'm not paying for the little USDA certified organic. I'm not paying the extra cost for someone to get certified naturally grown. I'm doing it myself. Great way to save money. Okay. Now it's true, you can't do every oil yourself, but things like mint, it is so easy. Just be warned, your entire house is going to reek of mint, and I'm not even kidding you. You're definitely going to have that smell. Lemon balm is another herb that grows just so abundantly that you can get enough. Oregano. Those are all fairly easy to do. You know, depending on where you live, you may have access to other herbs, barks, spices, you know, or if you come across a good deal. I mean, you never know. So it's good to have the skill. I use essential oils for everything, from my diffusers to massage oils, lotions, bath bombs. I even put them just in my bath water sometimes without the bath bombs. I use them in my soaps I make. Yes, I make homemade soap. So many, many uses. And, my whole point of starting my blog was so that I could share some of this information with you. This is why I wrote some of my books. Another one that's good is 101 Self-Sufficiency Gardening Tips. Again, it's not so much about gardening, but about how you can be self-sufficient through your garden. Okay. I hope that just made sense, the way I said that, because people don't seem to get it. As for my 2 Complete Idiot's Guide, The Complete Idiot's Guide to Year-Round Gardening. Delilah lives in Pennsylvania, which is a cold zone. I live in Indiana, which is also a cold zone. We are USDA hardiness zone 5-6. Anything that is said in that book can be done in at least a zone 5 garden. Okay. We're not talking places like California, Hawaii, Florida. We're talking the cold climates, okay? And you can modify. Each layer of greenhouse plastic, I once heard, raises you up 1 zone. Now, you do need to blow air between those to get the maximum efficiency. And there are all kinds of little tips and tricks that you could use. You can use frost cover inside. You can do a double layer of frost cover followed by a layer of plastic inside of your cold frame. Okay, so you can grow your vegetables year round. I've heard some herbs will work. I don't think flowers would, but I haven't tried it, so maybe. Pansies will live outside here in the winter. They do die back, but they come right back in the spring. So possibly if you tried pansies inside of a cold frame and gave them some additional protection, you could grow them year round if you wanted to. The Complete Idiot's Guide to Seed Saving and Starting is not about heirloom long-term seed storage. It is about exactly what the title says: seed saving and starting. That means starting your seeds. Okay. There are some really great charts in the back of that book. I have poured all of the information that I know that space would allow me to into this book. Again, I'm always open for questions. I'm always happy to talk about gardening. This is what I do. I'm happy to talk about homesteading topics. I've raised chickens, turkeys, peacocks. I have had pheasant. I've raised goats, both fiber and dairy. I've had cashmere and Angora goats, as well as the Alpine Nubian mix. I have raised Leicester long wool sheep, which are an endangered breed. I've had horses, more than just the one that I've had here. I've had other horses in my life. So I've always had dogs and cats around, hamsters, fish, rabbits. I've had Angora rabbits, and I've had your general run-of-the-mill rabbit that people butcher and eat for meat. And by the way, I am not opposed to people killing an animal to eat it. Okay? I am opposed to people who kill an animal just for the sport. That is bullcrap. Any way you cut it, that is bullcrap. Okay, if you're going to kill an animal, you need to eat it. That's what God put these animals here for, to feed and nourish us. Okay, that is truly how I feel. I don't agree with factory farms. I think they need to shut them down. I think they need to hand the power back to the people, back to the small farmers. Let people have goats and chickens in their backyard. I don't have any complaints about that. Yes, control your animals, take care of your animals, keep them home. But I don't see what it hurts. I've had complaints from neighbors about my chickens, and I'm going to tell you. At one point, I had to keep my chickens up inside of their chicken coop, even though I live in the country. This yard became so overran with mosquitoes, ants, and just your general little pesky bugs, including Japanese beetles, that nobody wanted to go outside here. And I am very serious about that. Okay, it got really buggy. Turned my poultry back loose and I let them free range, keeping them on my property as much as I could, because yes, chickens can fly. You can trim their wings. Some chickens will actually climb up a fence. I stood and watched them do it because I said, with their wings clipped, how the heck can they fly a 6-foot fence? And I stood here with someone from animal control because I had a neighbor complaining because my chickens got on their property. And we stood and we watched that chicken with its clipped wings that were properly clipped, just right up and over. What are you going to do about it? Okay. We ended up butchering the chicken. Solved the problem. Okay. But, you know, they're great for bug control. You would not need all these chemical sprays if more people had chickens. Do they poop? Yes, they do. I had a rooster that would roost on my deck right over my plumera plant. And I had a 6-foot plumera plant. And every morning I got up and that pot was so full of chicken poop that I was just ready to pull my hair out. So what did I do? I took my hose and I sprayed it down, and I absolutely watered it all down. I filled my pot up several times, clear to the rim, watched it soak all the way through, and I'm going to tell you what I had. I had the most beautiful plumera with huge, huge blooms. So many blooms, you wouldn't believe it. And I just learned, you know, it washes away. Scoop it up and use it on your garden after you compost it. I do recommend composting it. Chicken poop is hot. I just didn't want to scoop it out of my pot, so I diluted it with a lot of water. We were on a well. It didn't matter, you know. So anyway, these are the things that my blog, experimentalhomesteader.com, is about, what my books are about, what this YouTube channel is going to be about as I get there, a step at a time. And I hope that you will subscribe. I hope that you will ask some questions, leave some nice comments. And I would love to see some thumbs up too. Thanks for watching and have a great day.